Excellencies, esteemed ladies, gentlemen, scholars, and friends. We are already 20 minutes behind the schedule, so I think we'll be running our operation as swiftly as possible. So while the presenters are going to speak for about 10 to 15 minutes each, think of questions you are going to ask. So keep your mind alert, hook your thoughts to slender evidence presented by in each of the papers, and pose your questions briskly because we have to gallop. And also, we are waiting for the speaker number one, who is at the moment somewhere, I suppose in Colombo. So when he comes, would you give him great applause, because it would be great relief to have him launch the operations. So we are ready to kick off, but still waiting for the speaker number one. We are reshuffling. So the first speaker is Dr. Ungilima Tahia. Could you please comment? Thank you.
In the next 15 minutes, I would hurriedly be summing up my reflections on shifts in the status of Buddhism in Haryana, some reflections. So before I move to my main theme, I would like to talk about the geographical situation of Haryana, so that everybody would know where Haryana is situated. Haryana, one of the states of India, is located between latitude 30.30 north and longitude 74.60 east. It is bounded by state of Punjab in the northwest, state of Himachal Pradesh in northeast, and state of UP and national capital India, Delhi, in the east, and sandy tract of state of Rajasthan in south and southwest. The present state of Haryana constituted a major segment of Guru Janpath in ancient times. The scope of my presentation is going to be twofold. One, progressive shifts in the status of Buddhism in Haryana, and two, the degenerating shifts. Geographical expanse and popularity of Buddhism in Haryana during 6th century BC to 2nd century AD has not been smooth and linear. Journey has been dotted with various ups and downs. However, this period has been a period of advent and growth of Buddhism in the region. With the advent of Yodhyas and Imperial Guptas during post-Kushana period started the degenerating shifts in the status of Buddhism and ultimately slipped into oblivion by 14th century. So through, slides, some by slide. So through slide, I have tried to capture the journey of Buddhism in Haryana from 6th century BC to 14th century AD. Some milestones I have pointed out this, and through upward, if it starts working, then I will upward mark has been shown for growth, and downward is for, we can call it a period of stagnation, a period of slumber, you can mark it by any. So 6th century BC has been the period of advent and spread of Buddhism in Haryana. And in Buddhist literature, we have so many references from where we can infer that Buddha himself initiated the people into his faith here. And there are as many as around 15 places which has been mentioned in Buddhist literature of Guru Temple, and out of those 15, around 11 places are located in Haryana, and Buddha himself visited those places and initiated people over there. Then next comes the period of 5th and 4th century BC, and this period, I have marked this period as a period of stagnation, or you can call a period of plateau or a period of slumber. So if we go by Hanson and Portillo's description, it becomes very clear that it was a period of setback to Buddhism. Then the next period, 3rd century BC, it was again the period of progress and growth. Ashoka took multi-pronged measures to make Buddhism the religion of masses. He provided royal patronage, built schools, erected pillars, and he appointed Dharma Mahamantras to translate Buddhism into practice. So next comes the period of, again, a period of stagnation, and that period we can call it a period of Shunga period and period of 2nd century BC. The Buddhist literature refers Pushyamitra Sun as the prosecutor of Buddhist archaeological references, they don't support this perception. And we do find some Buddhistic remains here and there in Haryana during this period also, though number is quite insignificant. For example, we do find in pillar in Hathi and Bhagas. These are the two places. It's near Gurgaon or in Gurgaon district. So from there we have found the remains of the pillar. Then comes the period of Kushan, 2nd century AD, and Buddhism again received added vigor and zeal during the period. They popularized the religion and provided a fresh impetus, as is evident from the recovery of variety of antiquities such as stupas, monasteries, sculptures, terracottas, seals and ceilings, etc. throughout the Haryana. In my full paper I have given all the details in that, along with the pictures of that. Then again, 4th, 5th century is AD, the period of stagnation, and during this period, Yodhyas and imperial Guptas, they came into power, and stagnation of Buddhism started from there. And again, there are so many factors, but basic factors are the Buddhism lost the royal patronage during this period, and revival of Puranic Hinduism. That is very, very important, because Puranic Hinduism, that emerged with a comparatively, I should say, human face, or it has a liberal face in that period. Then again, during 7th century AD, that was the period of Pushya Buddhism, and during this period, especially Rajavardhan and Harshavardhan provided a fresh lease of life for quite some time, but couldn't check its decline. Liberal donations and alms to monasteries, convened Buddhist councils, and summoned the congregation of monks at interment, etc. There are so many other measures which Harshvardhan took to popularize the religion. But after 7th century onwards, we see a continuous decline, and ultimately by 14th century, Buddhism slipped into oblivion. So have just tried to highlight the phases of growth and stagnation, or you can call it a period of decline. And ultimately it died in 14th century. So now I'm trying to find out the reasons for that, the factors responsible for the growth and the decline of Buddhism in Haryana. The progressive and degenerating shifts in the status of Buddhism in Haryana could be better appreciated with reference to changing contemporary socio-economic scenario of the region. Haryana, because of its geography, served as a corridor to India. Right from ancient times, migrants, travelers, traders and invaders coming from northwest used this tract for entering India. The Aryans, a pastoral tribe, were first migrants to the region who subsequently established their settlements with farm and animal husbandry as their major profession. Over the passage of time, Haryana developed as a cradle of Vedic civilization and religion. The Vedic religion in the beginning was simple and as per the needs of the pastoral society. Gradually, the Aryans established their settlements and adopted agriculture and animal husbandry as their main profession. Now they started generating surplus and accumulating wealth. Brahmanas, monopolizing the religious affairs, added more complexities, rituals and expensive ceremonies to the system so as to extract maximum share from the surplus. No yard would be completed without animal sacrifice and huge offerings. With the enhanced preoccupations with crop and animal husbandry, a vast section of Vedic society had hardly any time to perform long, complex and expensive yajnas and rituals. Likewise, with increased dependence on animal power, they could not afford the loss of their livestock. With the shift from pastoral to agriculture as a way of life, there was a need of flexibility in religious practices. The sticky Brahmins were not ready for that. Thus, the Vedic religion developed all sorts of inadequacies and failed to cater to needs of changed socio-economic scenario. The people looked for an alternative to satisfy their spiritual needs as well as needs of changed socio-economic conditions. As the people of the region came in contact with the teachings and preachings of Buddhism and Jainism, they were inclined to look at them as possible alternatives. Buddhism right from the beginning emphasized that the life on earth be protected. Buddhism repeatedly pleaded for harmonious and peaceful coexistence. So the Buddhist philosophy of non-violence, peaceful coexistence and mutually interdependence invoked positive response from the people. The growth of trade and trade-related practices, a major development on economic front, further exposed the limitations of the rigid social ideology of Vedic religion. Increased divisions of labor, surplus production and growth of trade led to the growth of trade and trade practices. The Vedic religion considered trade as a baser profession. Contrary to it, Buddhism appreciated the role of trade and traders. According to Anguttara Nikaya, a successful trader ought to have three qualities: vision, shrewdness, and ability to inspire confidence. In this context, I would like to refer to Harper's observation that the new religion had more holistic understanding of the contemporary changes and reflected more sensitive response to the process of change. A religion's sensitivity to changes in social and economic scenario always enhances its acceptability. Another factor that contributed to the growth of religion is royal patronage, the growth of Buddhism in the region would therefore be to a large extent attributed to the royal patronage given by Mauryans, Kushans and Pushyabhuti kings. Now we will talk briefly about the degenerating shifts. Numerous developments during 7th century not only adversely impacted the growth of Buddhism but also created conditions that led to the onset of its decline. A careful study of developments within the Buddhism on the one hand and changes in socio-economic scenario of the region on the other would provide clues to the factors responsible for the decline and ultimate disappearance. Over the time, Buddhism split into various sects and subsects carrying full shoulders for each other. Some of these sects assimilated various elements of Vedic religion losing its own split, such as image worship, rituals, tantra, mantras, etc. The revival of Puranic Brahmanism with a liberal phase also speeded up the decline of Buddhism. I am not going into details how progressive shifts is Puranic Buddhism had imbibed. Then Buddhism failed to meet the challenges posed by the emerging feudal society because the lifestyle, the morality, everything of feudal society that did not commensurate with the basic elements of Buddhistic philosophy. Again, likewise, the Buddhist philosophy of non-violence, harmony and peaceful coexistence did not match the expansionist ethos of the early medical rulers. The following three factors further weakened the base of Buddhism in the region. A. The loss of royal patronage. B. Frequent invasions of Arabs, Turks, Afghans that compelled the people of the region to leave the path of ahimsa and to take up arms as a survival strategy. C. The emergence of new religious movements such as Bhakti movement and Sufism with a mass appeal. By the end of 14th century, Buddhism, though totally vanished from the scene, yet its impact could still be seen on the agriculturist class of Haryana, irrespective of their caste and geographical affiliation. Till the recent past, their visits to temples and their faith in elaborate rituals have been very, very limited. They have been invariably vegetarian. It is interesting to note that because of labor-intensive nature of crop and animal husbandry, the agriculturist class has been working side by side with the people of lower caste. Because of this intermingling at the workplace, untouchability has not been a big issue with the agriculturists. And this liberal approach initiated by Buddhism has been kept alive for so long in Haryana by reformist movements such as Archaeology. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I would like to invite...
I have so many slides and
Well, we'll see what's become possible in half an hour. I invite three questions from the floor. Man from the left, please.
The left, myself. Over there. Yes, you sir, yes.
Just asking one question that till date, historically, it is yet established that Buddha did not cross Veranj, that is place in Mathura. Till date, historically, it is established that Buddha himself personally did not cross Veranj. There is a place in Mathura. Despite heavy pressure, he did not cross even beyond Kaushambi. And Kanchayan, when Udayan pressed him that he should come. So what is the source you are using? That is just, it's a news means that Buddha went to Haryana and preached there. What is the source basically which you are using?
Yeah, there's so many, in Buddhist literature.
Which one
I think I think Divya Nikaya is there. I've quoted so many sources in which that's what I'm saying. Stupas and archaeological evidence we don't have for that, but the accounts, that.
There is no literary evidence in Pali that is saying that Buddha himself.
Majjhima Nikaya, and you please go through that. And
I have went many times, so there is no established.
I found there. I will let you know the details of that.
Thank you very much, Madam, please.
I would congratulate you for having this given us the entire history of Buddhism. But I was kind of wondering that when we are talking about the history of Buddhism, in some region like you are talking about in Haryana, or maybe you are taking into account entire India, should we not look into what royal patronage was for Buddhism and the masses? Because we have certain evidence, for instance, for Gupta period. I mean, we all know that, patronage of Buddhism was not so much directly during Gupta period. They went to for Brahminical things. But we see many schools of sculptures coming up, which were producing, take for instance Sarnath. Similarly, Shunga, you yourself referred to, but we have lots of monuments during Shunga period. So I think if we are talking about, such development of Buddhism, and if we take into account archaeological site material remains, as well as, some of these political inscriptional based evidence, we have to sort of sort out.
Actually, because of, I'm sorry to say, I got 15 minutes, I just touched upon, but in my full paper, I have, given all the details of archaeological findings.
Oh, but my specific question is whether you are relying more on, political patronage or patronage by masses?
Masses. Of course, the rich people, of course, that royal patronage also had a role to play, but it did not die at that time because it was popular among masses also. So that's how I think.
You had a question.
Anybody else?
Well, my question corresponds with the gentleman's question, because you mentioned 11 sites in Haryana where apparently Buddha had gone. Could you mention one or two sites? The most important one, and what is still there, and again, what is the visible evidence where we can conclude that he was there?
That's what I was saying. It's a news for me, this person who told me, but I will talk to him later on about this. He says that there is no accounts, even when Sang has talked about the Shrungana. Shrungana is a soup, it's a near Yamuna. Even when Sang has talked about that, and there is Rohitika, that means Rohata. Yeah. So, there are all elements about I talked Rohitika, Thulo, Kothir, Gama. That is also in Ambala district. I identified. Kamas Dhama, Kamaspur, it's near Sonipat, district Sonipat.
Thank you very much, friends. I would like to now invite Dr. Tripathi, who is going to talk about the heritage of Gujarat.
Respected Chairperson, Professor Rudolf, distinguished delegates, myself, Dr. Atul Tripathi, I am Associate Professor in the Department of History of Art, Karnataka University. My topic is the Buddhist heritage of Gujarat in the context of recent findings and Vatnagar. Vatnagar is a place in North Gujarat that is unearthed, which has this continuous history of more than 2 millennium years, more than 2200 years. This place is mentioned by various names during the course of its history, which I will mention later on. It caught important place in Henson's account, mentioned as O Man To Ulo. The thing that I'm trying to resist is, this place happens to be the present Chief Minister's native place, and because of his personal initiative, this archaeological site was explored and excavated. There two reasons for the present exploration, which I will show the slides. Number two, for investment purpose, to influence the Buddhist countries, especially Japan and Korea. Besides other things, my aim of this paper is to present before you that there is enough scope in going through the itinerary of Hyeonsang and following the footsteps of Sir Alexander Cunningham to explore the Buddhist sites which this project is. Protozoic period and later on many forts developed and they were very important. In ancient period we find the whole Gujarat divided into three parts, Anand, Saurashtra and Lanka. Presently the state is known for its industrial purpose, continues to occupy its distinct position in Indian economy, basically known for its trade, industrial development, agriculture and high growth rate. It's the 5% of country's population consists of and 6% of country's geographical area, but it contributes to about 16% of industrial production in India. Its per capita GDP is almost twice that of the national average. Our father nation, Mahatma Gandhi, is from Bangladesh, from Gujarat. In fact, what I want to say, in his spirit, Gandhiji had followed the footsteps of Lord Buddha. He was very much influenced with the Buddhism, Buddhist thought. Historically, when we see, the state has been one of the main centers of industrial civilization, having major sites such as Lothal and Dholavira. Lothal, you can see the excavation conducted by S.R. Rao. We find important dockyard. It was a major trading center. Dholavira, where we find that known for its aesthetic architecture, unique water harnessing system, and storage of water, etc. This thing, what I was going to discuss is that the state government is taking initiatives. In a bid to fill the tourism in Gujarat, the state government has sent a proposal. They have sent a proposal to center for a Buddhist circuit. These are the Buddhist circuit you can see, and it's serious in the direction of developing it. The state government has been pursued by Japan and Sri Lanka at that time. The Tourism Corporation of Gujarat has come out with the names of half a dozen places which is mentioned in here with Buddhism and Buddha, and has sped up work on the preservation of caves and sites. To expose and attract the Buddhist sites in Gujarat internationally among the tourists as well as scholars, recently there was an international seminar on Buddhist heritage which was inaugurated by Dalai Lama. You can see the picture of that. And during the 26th January 2007, we have president of different states. In this, you can see Gujarat is highlighting its rich Buddhist heritage in Delhi and during the Republic Day parade. Now I will go to the literary as well as other accounts from which we come to know about the Buddhism or Buddhist thing. First is literary sources, that is Pali scriptures. This is the earliest ones in which we find indications of Buddhism, and we find that at least Buddhism must have entered in the Gujarat quite early, even during the lifetime of Buddha. In the Avadan, that is Apadan, we find reference of Bahya Taruchirya from Bharukach, who was invited in the assembly of monks and declared by Buddha as the foremost among those who constantly comprehended the truth. Like this, we find the stories of Vatamata, Malivam of Bharukach. Next on, the important thing is the Jatak stories. We find at least 5 Jatakas, Jatak number Sarvan Jatak, Indri Jatak, Bharu Jatak, Susondi Jatak, Suparak Jatak. In these Jatak, directly or indirectly, we find geographical references of Gujarat, particularly of Saurashtra. For example, in Sarvang Jatak and Indri Jatak, there is a reference of a river Satodika flowing through Surat, that is Saurashtra. Like this, we find reference in Bharu Jatak and Suparak Jatak. In the Susondi Jatak, Jatak number 360, we find reference of trading activities with Shumarnabhumi, that is Java, Sumatra, in which a busy trade route between Banaras and Bhuj, that is Varigazar, is Bharuch. Why Rajasthan is mentioned, from which it may be assumed that the traders coming from Sravasti, Banaras, Vaishali, Rajgiri and Buddhist centers of Madhyam Desh brought Buddhism
to Gujarat during its early days, along with their merchandise. This is the reason why the territories of Gujarat are frequently mentioned in the old Buddhist literature. There is another reference we find. Lord Buddha is said to have sent his disciple Purna to Sapara, who had brought Buddhism in Maharashtra. The Jatak stories we find that Sapara and Kutch were closely connected by sea routes. So from there, it might have entered Buddhist ideas of Buddhism to Gujarat. In the Vinay Pittak, there is a story of a monk from Kutch who thought himself guilty of a parajik offense because of his dream in which he slept with a woman. It is said in it that Upali, contemporary of the Buddha, ruled out that the said bhikshu was blameless. Similar story we find in Buddha Ghost Saman Pashadika. Another important thing is about the chronicle Dipvans and Mahavans. We find reference of Vijay Singh, who stayed in Bharuch for 3 months before sailing to Sri Lanka. Some people say it's Vang, and in some sources we find secondary sources that it is Gujarat. 3 months before sailing to Sri Lanka, according to these chronicles, he was among the 3 sons of Singh Babu, who founded the city Singhalpur, that is modern Sihor in Bhavnagar district of Gujarat. After being expelled by his father, he set sail from the port of Bharuch, passed through Sopara, and landed on the island of Sri Lanka in the year of Mahaparinirvana of Gautam Buddha. After conquering the port of Tamriti, Vijay Singh and his army settled in Sri Lanka. Like these literary sources, we can know from coins and other sources that Menander was also ruling in Gujarat. Milan Panno is one of them. The foreign accounts which we come to know about Buddhism is mentioned with the Wensang and Singh. There are at least 5 places mentioned by Wensang, that is Bharuch, Kutch, Vallavi, Vadnagar and Saurashtra. The names mentioned is you can see. And he has described in detail about the monasteries, how many monasteries are there, the distance in league, and the priests or believers, how many believers were there. He especially mentions about Vallavi and Vadnagar. He gives detailed account of that. And particularly, I am not going in detail about that, but I am mentioning about the detailed things we mentioned about the kings, Maitra kings. Wensang gives detailed account of the influence of Buddhism on kings of Vallavi, particularly Maitrakas. Maitrakas ruled after the Guptas. First, Western Kshatrapas, we find difference. Then after that, Gupta, during the rule of Chandragupta II, he conquered Western Kshatrapas. After that, we find Maitrakas of Vallavi. What he writes, he did detailed account of the influence of Buddhism on the kings of Vallavi, particularly Siladitya I, Dharmaditya, and Dhrusen II. About Siladitya I, Dharmaditya, he writes, I quote, by the side of the palace, he built a vihar. Every year he convoked an assembly called Moksha Mahaparishad and summoned the priests of the 4 quarters. He offered them the 4 things in religious charity. He gave them sets of 3 garments used in religious services, and also bestowed on them the 7 precious substances, angels in wonderful variety. About
5 minutes.
Second, he writes that quite recently, like he writes about this, he bestows in charity the 3 garments and mendicants, all other things he writes about it. And the main thing about Singh compares Vala, that is Vallavi, the learning center, with Nalanda. What he writes, you can see, thus instructed by their teachers and instructing others, they pass 2 or 3 years, generally in the Nalanda monastery in central India or in the country of Vallavi, Vala in western India. These 2 places are like the Chinma, Situ, Lungmen and Shuri in China, and their eminent and accomplished men assemble in crowds, discuss possible and impossible doctrines, and after having been assured of the excellence of their opinions by the wise man, became far famed of their wisdom. It shows how it was, the Vallavi was famous. Now in the third part, I have taken the inscriptional sources. First, the documented history starts from the Ashokan inscriptions. What I have written, that the ideology of Ashoka expressed through his inscription must have influenced the socio-religious life of the people of the region, indirectly Buddhism. We find an inscription ceiling at Itwa, it is near Girnar, in which Maharaj Rudrasen Vihar Bhikshu Sanghas is written, and which shows that it was of the period of Rudrasen II and 2nd century AD. The important thing is the Devni Mori. We find on the lower side of this, you can see, we find a relic casket from Stupa at Devni Mori with an inscription saying that this Mahastu enshrining body of the Buddha. Next is the reference of a cave at Lat in the Mansoor inscription. We find inscription, you must have heard about the Mansoor inscription in which a Pattavai Shreni is mentioned, who first built the Surya temple at Mansoor and then renovate. There is in the third stanza of it, there is a phrase in which Bihar comes about the what is written. It's written that the Kusum Bhara Taruvar Devakul Sabha Bihar Ramaniya. It's mentioned that in Mansoor we find reference of Lord described as pleasing with choice trees that are bowed down by weight of their flowers and with temples and assembly halls of the gods and with Buddhist Bihars. It also corroborates Itsing's account in which he writes Samiti Nikaya was in a flourishing state in Lat. Like this, we find the copper plate grants refer to a large number of monasteries existing here and surrounding regions of. We have the tables that in which the list of Bihar being built by the king or royal families. You can see. Like this, we can see the Bihars of monasteries being built by the donation being given by the royal donation being given by the king or by queen. You can see here. The fourth question is about monuments. I have mentioned about the monuments, which are major monuments. You can see from there the foreign influence because of the trading activities. It was you can see it was a civilization religion and civilization religion. Because of religion, urbanization came, and we find foreign elements in the, you can see 5th century Gandhar influence. And in the decorative motifs, you can see. Like this, you can see the caves, monasteries, vihars. This is the Vadnagar excavation. On the left part, you can see the wall consisting of successive construction. Successive phases of repairs of fort, you can see. This is the excavated area. It's about, when I talk about this Vadnagar, the total Vadnagar is on the northeastern part of Gujarat. It is considered among the ancient town of Gujarat. It was known as Anandpur, Anandpur, Chamatkarpur, Skandpur, Nagar during this course of history in Puranas we find. Earlier in the area of 1952 there was an excavation done by MS University by S.B. Rao. Later on this place is considered to be the origin place of the Nagar Brahmins. And we find in the Vadnagar Prasasti that Kumar Pal in the year 12th century built a fort for the protection of the Brahmins. And in the total area of it is 995 meter east to west and 660 meter north to south. And of this area, an unoccupied area of 30 by 25 meter was excavated by the Gujarat State Archaeology. And in that excavation we find a settlement, regular settlement beginning around the foundation of the settlement, that is around 3rd century BC to 7th century AD. And we find, you can see, 2 Buddhist stupas, a monastery, 12 viharas. You can see one is the square one, the other is the circular one. These are the earlier it was the sword. These are the 3. You can see the monkeys gift of honey. Hinsa has also mentioned it. The mutilated Buddha head. These things. Thanks.
Thank you very much. 3 questions from the floor, please.
Mentions about a Pattavai Sreni, which
I am very much mentioned.
Which migrated from.
Listen me first.
Yeah.
I am into SAARC singer and very much aware for that. So I showed in the page of Colombo, Pattavai Shreni. and they are basically sun worshippers, and they lie in Madhya Pradesh.
Yeah.
You are quoting it's in Gujarat.
Sit down. You have no knowledge about that. Because Pattabhai Sreni was originally from Lord Pradesh, that is Northern Gujarat.
Yeah.
They migrated to Mandsaur. They are mentioning about the Lord Pradesh. You see the reference of that.
Yeah, I have
See
seen it.
anything. See, there is mention of Lord Pradesh about the beautifulness of the Lord Pradesh.
They are
in that.
They are migrating from Lad to Mandsaur and just doing business and started they just supporting the sun worshipping.
You have no knowledge of the description. They don't talk about that. They are mentioning, go to the third stage of the description. They are mentioning about the Lord Pradesh.
I am saying that they are Lord Pradesh, but they are not saying that they are going to worship Buddha. They are worshipping the sun worshipping.
What I am saying, you couldn't understand. Why
presenting the sites of Buddha?
Why giving the description of Lord Pradesh? They are giving that it is full of flower trees and
You are out of your time. Next question, please. Gentlemen over there.
no knowledge about
There are so many references to Haryana. He is saying it is for the sake of saying.
Go to the inscription.
I have not gone through the inscription.
You can carry on during the tea time, please. The next question.
First I want to sort out this problem. This Pattabhai Sreni was originally from Lord Pradesh.
Yes, I accept this.
They migrated from Lord Pradesh to
Yes,
Jaspur.
I accept this.
In the description, you go to the third stanza, there is description of Lord Pradesh.
I accept this.
In there,
It's true.
in there, the Lord Pradesh is mentioned with caves, with Buddhist caves. We are. What I have mentioned this.
Peace. Buddha taught peace.
The next question, the gentleman to the left.
Everyone may remind be reminded of that.
Let's just take for Gandhi and the influence of Gandhi's life. Influence of Gandhi life we see people when we go to Jalaj and all area of the site. More of I think that because there is also Satranji. So just how you see that I think Gandhi's life have more impact so far the traces here is started wearing up the Jainis. That's why.
Because of non-violence and different. I put this from bias management.
Thank you very much. Is there a third question? I invite the third speaker, Dr. Shrikant Gandir, who is going to talk about excavation in Tanale, Western Deccan.
Respected Chairperson, Professor Nidula Jaiswal, Dr. Sanjay Balgaji, the organizer who has done such a tremendous work, bringing many heads and many brains together, very difficult exercise. I can understand. All respected scholars, ladies and gentlemen. I will be presenting on Tanale, one of the less visited, less studied and isolatedly located cave temple site or rocker site in Western Deccan. These are the primary results or primary observations of my own fieldwork sponsored by my institute, Deccan College, which is a deep university located in Pune, and got official permission from the Archaeological Survey of India. We have been exploring Tanale, Nenavali and surrounding area for last 5 years, and we have some interesting results and some interesting findings which are going to be present here. This is a recently prepared map of Buddhist caves of Maharashtra, which is also part of our project, showing many less known sites. And the Tanale on which I am talking is located somewhere here. This is basically a special map prepared by our colleague Vikram Marathe, showing to association of Buddhist cave sites, not all major Buddhist cave sites, to the trade centers such as Chaul and Junnar, which have been recently escorted by Deccan College to understand the associationship between the Buddhist monastic site and cave site, the patronage of royal patronage as well as the patronage from traders and common masses. Coming to the basic data, that is the location of Thanale caves. The Thanale caves are located in western Deccan, precisely talking in the Pali Taluka of Raigad district of Maharashtra. There is a group of 23 Buddhist caves. Caves were visible in 1890, that is 8th January 1890 by one amateur historian, or you can say amateur archaeologist, Father Abbott, and published its primary report in the 20th volume of Indian Antiquary. Unfortunately, these caves have been not discussed in the magnum opus on the Buddhist caves of India, or you can say cave temples of India by Burgess and Ferguson. Immediately, one of the archaeologists, Henry Cousins, visited and published a small report in 1891. Along with Thanale, we have other important monuments, that is the Nenavali caves and Gomashi caves. All three groups have recently been declared as the national monuments of national importance and have been protected by Archaeological Survey of India. If the Abbott and Cousins describe all caves, then what is our contribution, or what is our job to again represent or again study those caves? That is a very interesting question. Archaeological Survey of India, under the directorship of Dr. M.N. Deshpande, the former Director General, did scientific clearance of these caves, and that scientific clearance of Thanale caves has provided some important findings. The another part of this my talk will be associated with the recently discovered many findings, such as we recently reported or discovered. I will not go in the words. So we recently reported around 18 to 20 caves in the surrounding of Thanale cave at three places, that is Dhonse, Kharbala and Bairampada, along with around more than 20 stairways located at different locations going to Thanale and some water tanks. Next. This is a general view of Thanale caves. As the caves are very well preserved, both from human activities as well as from nature. Why from human activities? Because it is very difficult to go there. One has to walk for more than 60 to 70 minutes walk, and that is a very difficult exercise, going through a dense forest. So hardly someone visits. As far as natural preservation is concerned, specifically in this patch of Sahyadri ranges or Thanale cave, the most of the caves are preserved as compared to the other caves of this region. These are caves, cave number 5, cave number 6, cave number 7, the most important monastery, that is the Vihar, followed by cave number 8, the interesting Chaitya cave, and 9 and 10 cave, and remaining caves are in the same direction. Next. This is very interesting cave, cave number 3. Besides the Chaitya Gruha and Vihara caves, we have some memorial stupa galleries in the western India, and these memorial stupa galleries are noticed at Kaneri, Bhaje, Pitalkora and Thanale. As Chopin already discussed the cult of local monastic dates and its significance in the contemporary religious cultural scenario in Indian monasteries. So here we have Originally this cave consisted of 13 monastic, 13 memorial stupas. Out of only 8 stupas are preserved, 5 stupas were structural stupas, and the remains are not preserved. Next. So this, the plan after Kazinj shows the existence of 11 stupas, and this is our revised plan. Here you will find that the structural stupas are missing because the remains are not preserved. But this cave is very interesting, which shows the continuous religio-cultural activity and the association of the monastic activity at site, which are very well preserved in archaeological context and also supported by or can be verified by the architectural activities. Next please. We have 6 stupas, and the architectural features help us to arrange them in chronological order. Precise date is very difficult, but we can suggest a tentative period. Stupa number 1 and 2 are considered to be earliest stupa because under they are Methi and Adhistan, and the under are simple. Cave number 3 and 4 are considered to be later one, probably belonging to 1st century of Common Era, and the last stupa, that is the stupa number 5 and 6, are considered to be excavated during 2nd, 3rd centuries of Common Era. Interestingly, all stupas have sockets. The sockets were meant to preserve the relics of the monks, venerable monks. Unfortunately, we do not have any inscription at Thanale, especially in this cave. So, but we have epigraphical data, inner epigraphical data from the Kanedi as well as Bhaja, where we can understand there was a religio-cultural activity very well established, prevalent among the contemporary Buddhist society to either erect or construct or excavate such stupas on the relics of monks, and those monks are described in especially in Kanedi inscription as a Tripitaka or specific having a knowledge of specific Pitaka or specific Buddhist canonical text. It means that all information has been very well preserved in the Buddhist monastic activities by the contemporary society. Next. We have also 2 Buddhist stupas. When they found that there was no scope to excavate any more stupa, they excavated 2 small stupas with again sockets to preserve body relics. Unfortunately, ASI or Henry Cousins or even our team could not find any relics, but as the sockets suggest their existence. Next. This is a very interesting cave. The first plan after Cousins showed that this wall was missing in Cousins' plan. It was very much natural because after the scientific clearance of, done by Archaeological Survey of India, we came to know about when the front wall of this vihara collapsed. Then contemporary society, probably in late centuries, 2nd or 3rd centuries, they constructed a structural wall with the help of stones and next. This is a general view of cave number 7, where we have one inscription. Next. This is basically the wall showing the how the ancient society or how our ancestors were very much familiar with the system of conservation of their monuments and how such monuments were reused, reconstructed by the ancient people. Next. Besides the worship of stupa, we also come through the worship of Lakshmi, Gajalakshmi and Nagar, which again suggests that there was a dominance of local cult such as the cult of Nagar and cult of Gajalakshmi, because we have 4 sculptures from Gajalakshmi. So after Sanchi and Bharu, we have only Thanale in Western Deccan or Maharashtra, where we have numerous representations of Gajalakshmi, and as we know, she was worshipped or she is worshipped for the prosperity and fertility. Next. This is an interesting Chaitya cave number 8. It is a saddle-on plan with a simple stupa having adhisthana and under the wooden ribs and rafters missing, but the sockets on the back as well as side walls of the Chaitya cave suggest that the ribs and rafters were probably made of wood. Next. This is a plan showing again there was existence of structural wall as well as structural platform. Next. The structural platform, which is missing in Cousin's line drawings, has been came to notice only after ASI scientific clearance, and which suggests it is probably one of the very rare or one of the rarest examples in Buddhist architecture where such a platform is provided. Besides its usage for the support, as well as we can also associate its usage with the some Buddhist rituals. Actually, we do not have any data, but it suggests that as we go through the Fogeling's interpretations and this on the basis of stupa, then structure stupa, and the space, use of space, we can make some observation that probably for the some rituals, Buddhist rituals, some kind of platform was made. Next. These are the Vihara caves. When they came to know that the front wall was collapsed, they put the wooden porch and you can see the remains of sockets. Next. These are the stairways which we recently noticed in the surrounding or vicinity of Thanale, and we found almost 21 stairways at different locations going to monastery, and it is very interesting to show near some stairways we also noticed some water tanks, and it is very interesting how the entire landscape, as this is an ongoing project. So we are also basically now carrying out the study of geoarchaeological aspect as well as landscape archaeology of this entire region, as it is full with the archaeological evidences. Next. This is the one of the recently noticed cave by me and my team. It is almost in the one of the isolated or one of the utterly located in the dense forest. And here we have two groups. This is the Vihara, next, and this is the Chaitya, two slides. Yeah. Next, this is again Vihara. The front is the front portion was collapsed. With my photograph to just give evidence that I visited this site. And this is some unfinished excavations which shows that the unfinished excavations give some important idea about the method of excavating and how their knowledge about the stones and geology and so on. Next. This is my team. Without their active support, it was not possible to explore the dense forest where there are many wild animals. Thanks to them. Next. To conclude, Thanale provides very useful data to understand basically the nature of early monastic site, because as generally we think that most of the Buddhist caves are located on trade route, but Thanale is not located on any trade route. I will come to the Kathleen Morrison's article in the special issue of World Archaeology, Buddhist Archaeology, that is in the World Archaeology, where she says, I just quote that, it is not possible to locate every Buddhist cave site on trade route. Probably Thanale and Nenavali are such cave sites which are located from the main sites. So probably, I am not sure, we do not have any evidences as our archaeological study is mainly based on evidences, but if we consider the Robert Cunningham's hypothesis, which is again published in same volume of Buddhist archaeology, of our archaeology, where it tries to associate the monasteries with forest monks. So probably it seems that there were some monasteries which are very isolatedly located even in early centuries. Even today visiting them and coming back safely is a risk, very challenging. So it suggests that probably some monks were engaged in some meditational practices or some religious meditation, and probably Thanavali, Nenavali are such places for such monks. We have some 3 inscriptions which again mention a patronage from common people, and one of the inscription is very interesting, is donates a female, donation made by female. Her name is Pakaras, and she is disciple of Pujavati, who is a nun, and that nun is from Rajasthan and place called Pushkar. And I think most of the South Asian delegates are famous with Pushkar. So next.
No, I don't think there's a time
Thank
for
you.
the next slide. No.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Ganvir. I would like to invite the questions from the floor, please.
Last. And this is a painted ceiling from Thanale.
Questions, please.
Yes.
Yes.
Did you,
You just showed this to us at the very last, yeah? But did you find any more reliefs or murals or signs of painting or something in the caves?
There are the remains of paintings, at Thanale, and we have one image at Thanale which is not fully preserved, but the archaeologists scientifically preserved it after some conservation and suggest that it was an image of Lord Buddha, but now only we have some remains. Interestingly, even that ceiling, is painted. It was originally painted. You can see the traces of paintings. And the platform, which was just installed, which was erected or constructed after in front of stupa, was also painted. So it seems that whole cave group was once upon a time it was painted. But now, as you know, there are some red bowls and green bowls. These are the geological defects in the basalt or amygdaloid stones. That is a dathylic basalt or red dathylic bowl. They are found in the ranges of these western caves or Sahyadri, and such bowls unfortunately they are also found in Thanale caves, and that is why some of the caves could not preserve its original painting as well as original architecture features.
Thank you. Madam.
Have you found any Sri Father or Bodhi Vriksha like other signs of Sri Father or?
We have symbols of stupa. Almost we have in cave number 7, which is a only decorated cave in whole entire group. That is a Vihara cave. We have many animals are there. We have bull, we have horse, we have elephant, we have snakes. Besides that, we have two representations of Gajalakshmi and Naga and Stupa worship. And all this early art of Thanale shows again very strong influence of Central India, that is Garut and Sanchi. Unfortunately, we do not have any symbol like Dhammachakra or any Srivastha or Bodhi Vriksha. But we have Chaityas, that is a typical Buddhist design found in early Buddhist caves.
Yeah, just one very small question. Could you date all the caves which you got? Because you said only 3 are described. You have inscriptions in only 3.
Yeah.
Could you date all the caves you have discovered? And how?
Thanale caves or which caves?
No, Thanale caves, where you are working.
Generally, on the basis of paleography, on the basis of architecture features, and it's a comparative study, we date Thanale caves from 2nd century BCE or 1st century BCE to 2nd century Common Era or 3rd century Common Era. Then again, because of the remains of paintings, the archaeologists, who were engaged in the scientific clearance of these caves in 1980, they thought that, or their comments are like that, the remains of painted images of like Buddha again show the caves were reoccupied in 4th or 5th century Common Era.
Almost like Ajanta.
Yeah, my question to you is, you rightly pointed out, or rather you contextualized the debate about finding the archaeological sites within urban landscape, or actually this debate has been flooded with scholarly views. Like H.P. Ray has also talked about the urban sites are almost, once sites are located on the trade routes. Kathleen Morrison, on contrary, opposed that view, and she says that agriculture, settlement, and all. That is quite, island's range of monastic sites. Where to locate, where to establish monastery. That also talks about a place which should be situated, from, not far from urban place, and not, in the remote, or some kind of, theories we have in literatures. Now, since we have talked about a lot of people like Cunningham and Mauritians and others, and also we have referred to Foglin's work. There is a major problem with Foglins that he has applied all socio-anthropological theories. He talks about the power relation, he talks about ritual stratigraphy and the kind of astupa cult, which was, the laymen were, ladies were following a different kind of cults, and the way monks was, they were following the different. So there was some kind of ritual, you can say hierarchy. Do you think that kind of theories can be applied in context of the discovered cave which you have discussed? Do you think, is there any sort of sign to indicate some kind of hierarchy within the ritual space among the monks and the lay followers? One. Second, do you have, second question was related to dating, which has been already asked by the ma'am. So, first question. Thanks.
Actually, I refer Robert Collingham's basically the theory of forest monks, because we have been exploring this area since 2007, and unfortunately we have not found any big or small habitational site around the Thanale which could have supported Thanale in ancient period. That is very big problem before us. If we go to the both groups, Thanale, Lenavari, and the 3 groups discovered by us, so all 3 groups with all caves once upon a time or in ancient period could have accommodated around 80 to 90 monks at a time. Again, the memorial stupa gallery at Thanale is very interesting because it is not like the Bhaja or Kaneri where we have memorial stupa galleries of specific period. Here we have memorials, the continuity of memorial, or you can say the cult of local monastic dates for more than 400 years. So there are some hierarchy. We have actually, I did not talk about our architecture features, but somewhere we have only 2 cells, and that is the Gambha Vihara. Sometimes we have only 3 cells, and sometimes only we have 1 cell. Probably that is called Big Acharya. But in absence of any evidence, and as you know, the archaeologists have to do all this exercise on only basis of evidences. So in the absence of any strong evidence, again we have our limitations to support the theories of either Fogelin's theory of hierarchy, that is a ritual hierarchy. Only as far as the platform which was installed in front of cave number 8, I think that probably I can apply for buildings that the ritual space was, because as far as I already consulted geologists who Dr. Sable and Professor Sable, who is basically also part of this team, and there was no necessity, like Pitarkhora or other caves, to conserve this cave by using or by installing such a platform. Then if there was no necessity, then why there is specifically a platform? Again, the whole platform was painted one. We have some photographs and we have remains of paintings, So why they constructed? So was for some ritual purpose or was for some offering? Actually, it seems that that whole region, as we have been working for a long period, and obviously we have to submit our report as per our directions given by our institute. So we are thinking to also do some research, research even after post submission of our report, because this region is very have a potential, and we have many interesting things, and sometimes we do not know the exact function of some things. Like we have on stairways, we have some poles, poles. We do not know the functions. For the wooden stairway, for old people, old monk, we don't know. So that is why we have some limitations to make some final conclusion. Okay.
Thank you very much.